Welcome to the virtual Stab Comedy Theater. It's time for the Suzette Veneti Show. Please welcome to your screen, Suzette Veneti.
Hey everybody watching, I'm Suzette Veneti and welcome to the Suzette Veneti Show. It's May 31st, it's 7:01, which is the closest we've come to starting on time, so 10 points for us. I hope you're watching, I hope you're enjoying, and if you don't mind giving me a minute, I just want to say, I know this is a comedy variety talk show, and it's supposed to be funny and entertaining, but I can't this week. I can't. I mean, we can. Well, I can't ever. But we have to start. We have to acknowledge everything that's happening. And if you don't want to hear this acknowledgement, I guess skip ahead 3 minutes. But you really should. This happens every week, and it's awful. It happens every day, and it's awful. And I have this platform. Stab is kind enough to give it to me. And whether I have 3 viewers or 17 viewers, it's kind of, you can't just ignore it and pretend like it's not happening. And I'm grateful to have the platform, but in good conscience, I want to address what's happening. It took 3 months for Ahmaud Arbery's murderers to be arrested, and they were caught on camera. He was just jogging. It was innocent and normal. And on this comedy show, I need to entertain and make people laugh. But first, I have to say that's a tragedy. And I have to say the name George Floyd, because I have to question what happened. And I'm not being novel here or unique. I'm not the only one, of course. But I can't pretend it didn't happen and just go on with the show. It took too long for Hennepin County to charge the murderer with murder. But they finally did, and I guess that's good. And then his wife divorced him really quick too, and that's good too, because he's a murderer. And I don't know if we're supposed to say his name, because we're not supposed to glorify murderers in the country anymore. We're supposed to just celebrate the victims. But he was a police officer, not a mentally ill loner. So we need to figure that out and clean up the people that are supposed to protect us, because they're supposed to protect us and not kill us. Sorry. Anyhow, their motto in Minneapolis is to protect with courage and to serve with compassion, and they could do better, I think. So, right. And I also don't know if he thought it was funny that he was kneeling, since kneeling's been such a touch point in this country for 4 years, but it wasn't, and it shouldn't be. Anyhow, let's see. Yeah, I reached out to the Minneapolis Police Department for a comment, and they didn't respond. So that's their fault, because we can talk about them, and I tried, and they didn't want to respond. There was one bit of relief in New York this week in Central Park. A white woman, Amy Cooper, called the cops on Christian Cooper, no relation. Sometimes white people calling the cops on black people try to paint the black person as an assailant, a dangerous person, which is what Amy Cooper definitely tried to do. But Christian Cooper, I don't know him. I know nothing about him other than what's been reported in the news. But if you were going to paint the image of a person that was probably not an assailant, you'd probably start with Harvard-educated comic book editor, birdwatcher, which is also called a birder. I didn't know that until this week because of this story. So at least I learned something out of it. Anyway, Mr. Cooper is okay, and thankfully the police that reported to the scene took time and didn't just fire first at the black man. But in the fallout, Amy Cooper lost her dog and her job and really her life, and Mr. Cooper didn't want that. But make no mistake, when Amy Cooper called the police and said that a black man was threatening her, she knew what she was doing. And it's almost weird that if I say she should be charged with attempted murder, that you have to think about that and think about whether or not that's accurate. So Changes need to be made. And you know what's really fucked up is if we didn't do the show, or if we made the whole show sad because of what happened and out of respect for what happened, that would make sense. But this thing happens, like I said, every day, all the time. And it's a tragedy. Innocent black men and women and kids are always getting murdered in cold blood by the cops. And there's always white people calling the cops on them for no other reason than racism and fear. And it needs to stop. It happens every day, every week, and it's gross. But again, I somehow have to transition from that to telling jokes. And there is no transition that does justice to that. There's no graceful transition to jokes. And it's going to be ugly and awkward like our country. And usually our goal is to distract and entertain for 90 minutes and to make you forget what's going on in the real world, to transport you to a place where you don't think about the real world. And we're going to try, but also we don't want you to forget about the real world. Not today. Okay. We're going to give you a great show. I have a good show, and so I'm going to get to it. And like I said, there is no transition to jokes. So I'm going to just start telling jokes now. Or, I mean, whatever counts from me coming as jokes. Anyhow, barbershops are opening all across California and America now. And I just wonder, what will white America complain about now? Okay, here we go. Sacramento has the lowest COVID transmission rate of the 50 top U.S. metropolitan areas and has been ranked the second ugliest city in America. Everyone made that joke already, but really, the correlation is strong. Be ugly, don't get COVID. Hawk Nelson, who, you ask? That's right, you're right to ask. Hawk Nelson is a Christian rock group. I can't wait to talk to Chelsea about this. Hawk Nelson is a Christian rock band, and their frontman, Jonathan Steingard, revealed that he doesn't believe in God last week. That's right, Christian rock band, atheist frontman. As soon as he came out as atheist, he also had to stop identifying as a musician. A meme went around showing conservative men who looked like what we would call incels holding loaded guns with the hammer cocked and the trigger finger on the trigger against their genitals. And the meme said that they were doing this to attempt to own libs. Well, I don't know if that's the real reason, because I've read the story that said that they're doing this to show that having a good trigger finger is good. But either way, go ahead, conservative incels. Keep holding those loaded guns against your genitals. We're all rooting for you to keep doing that. A used car dealer in New York City, Ronald Romano, was caught price gouging N95 masks. Of course, that's the masks that hospitals need for their nurses and doctors to not get infectious diseases. But he was a used car dealer, so no one's surprised that he was caught price gouging. Ronald, don't be a clown. And finally, the SpaceX rocket was set for launch, filled with liquid oxygen, which is rendered LOX, or LOX. It was then scrubbed because of weather, the launch, not the rocket. And the LOX was removed from the rocket. And I was just thinking, they put LOX in the rocket? I didn't know the rocket was Jewish, but then I looked at the rocket, and it looked circumcised, so I really should have known. My bad. And with that, we're just going to get to the show. And we got a great show, like I said. So we're going to bring on Mean Dave. Mean Dave, are you with us?
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, as good as can be. I've been hearing a lot of what's going on, and I'm not sure what's been going on. What I just know a lot of people are staying indoors anymore, and I've been this has been I guess a rough few days, unless you really like breaking stuff, and then it's been a great few days for some people. But yeah, as far as overall everything you talked about. And I really was glad you capped off your set with a Jewish joke. That was really
have to.
That made me. I was like, we're in good hands, But beyond that, yeah, my favorite thing this week has been due to a lot of people really, kind of speaking seriously on such heavy subjects. I have not seen a peep from anybody who has been crying about people not staying indoors. So that's been my really. There's a silver lining to every tragedy, and that's been everybody that I know on social media who likes to. There's a lot of these comedians that I'm friends with that they're my friends, but they like to give these press conferences. I like to say, and where every morning they want to sort of scold everybody, and they're also armchair scientists too, because they've got all the up-to-date facts on the science of COVID-19 and the coronavirus and all that. And the moment that we learned about George Floyd and everything else, and as the tension started mounting, not one of them saying anything about people going outdoors. So now I feel like I got to leave the house just to kind of do the right thing.
Right.
So I'm going to be going with no mask to grocery outlet tomorrow and shopping. So and I might knock a few things over just to show solidarity. But yeah, other than that, really, it's been a pretty quiet week where I live, because I live in a suburb, and until people just decide to go, if they want to come to New Park Mall and try and loot New Park Mall, I have 3 words: good fucking luck, because there ain't shit at that mall. I dare you to find anything at that mall worth looting. I mean, pretty much the only thing you're going to loot are old Asian couples that have been walking around. They only use that mall now as a place to walk,
like a hamster wheel for old Asian couples.
They don't want to have to go to a track and field at a high school, so they go to the mall, and that's all that New Park Mall has now. Everything else, there's a movie theater and stuff like that, but all that stuff got shut down. But I'm pretty sure the old Asian couples are still allowed to walk, so long as it's you got your mask and 6 feet. So, but beyond that, yes, awful tragedies, and yes, people trying to do the right thing. And my favorite thing to do right now, I defer to the ICEs. When I say ICEs, not ISIS, I'm talking the ICEs, like plural of ice, and I'm speaking about Ice-T and Ice Cube. I follow both of them on social media, and they've been my main news sources. Because Ice-T's been talking about this since I saw Body Count, let alone when he was in his heyday of rapping, and he's gotten a lot of all sides of this thing, both kind of being one of the original people telling people the police are pieces of shit, and then becoming a police officer and acting, starting with New Jack City and then with Law and Order SVU. So he's got a lot of knowledge of just sort of both playing a policeman and saying fuck the policeman, and so yeah. And Ice Cube as well. I was never really as much of a fan of Ice Cube, but I like his brow. He's got the furrowed brow, which just basically conveys fuck the police without even saying it. So and his tweets are nice. So yeah, so that's about it. Been a heavy week, so I guess I'll let you continue on with your show, and hopefully the mood will pick up.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry to start it with a somber note.
Nothing. No, you can't really. It's nothing to apologize for. You didn't do anything. I mean, I don't think so. Did you?
No. I mean,
all right.
I called the Minneapolis Police Department.
I mean, I didn't see you in the video. That's all I'm saying, or any other videos. But it's good.
Oh, if I was in a video, you'd notice. I would make sure to find the light.
Just making sure. But yeah, no, it's one of those things where obviously you got to talk about it, because how could you ignore it? I was going to pretend to ignore it, and then you just talked about it for 5 minutes, and then I was like, shit, well, I can't really ignore it now.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, that would have been just plain dumb acting, and I'm not a good actor.
Well, in any event, I'm glad that there's some normalcy in my life and anyone watching, and we get to touch base with you. And now everyone knows to follow the ICEs.
The Ice-T and Ice Cube. I should probably say Ice-T and Ice Cube, because the more I say the ICEs, it just doesn't sound right. So yeah, Ice-T and Ice Cube. So
right on. Thanks, Mean Dave.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Okay. That's Mean Dave. I hope you saw his social media handles and his Venmo. Make sure you hit the Venmos of not just Mean Dave and not Stab Comedy Theater above me, but of all my contributors and guests, because we're still out of work. We're still entertainers, and That's still illegal based on social distancing. So we're hustling. We're doing our best to entertain you. And our next guest is no stranger to entertaining anybody. And she has a surprise guest with her. And together, they are definitely hustling. Chelsea, can you hear me?
Yes!
Hi.
What? How are you?
I'm okay. How are you? I mean,
So good.
do I look
So
okay?
No.
Oh, then I'm not okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's the upward angle.
Come on.
Oh, only you can see that. The audience can't see that.
Oh, yeah. No, it's,
Yeah.
it's your aesthetic. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well then no, you're fine.
Oh, thank you.
You're like a tragic, just mistake, and I love everything about it. It's,
I have quoted
Yes!
Ariel trying to be human 75 times since you said it.
Bitch, you need to stop asking that question to your guests because I answered it the best, and you need to delete it from your repertoire. It's done.
What was the question?
The question was, if I was a Disney princess, which one would I be? And I said, you would be Ariel learning how to walk as a human because you're a fucking mess. That's what the answer, and it's brilliant. So delete it from don't ever ask that question again because you're never going to get a good answer. Thank you.
Okay, I will do that. And
Yeah.
Myles Weber, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Good to be here.
Oh,
Thanks
yeah.
for having me.
Sorry.
She only knows the Ariel Princess thing to be fact because she is in fact Ursula. So I mean that's the only reason that checks out. Look at her.
That's true. Oh my God. Yes, I actually said that. Sorry, my pronouns are all fucked up. It's a crazy day. Wow. She asked me that. If you were a Disney princess, which one would you be? I said, no, I would be a villain without a doubt. I don't do mornings. I hate animals. Fuck it. I'm a villain.
And she's a poor unfortunate soul.
My tits are too big to be a fucking princess. That's really the fucking key.
Yeah.
No princess would fit into a dress with this shit. It's stupid.
Her right tit's as big as one princess.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say that when Ursula becomes a human, Vanessa, and she's like,
Vanessa.
yeah, that was the first Disney princess to have jiggling boobs, like visibly jiggly boobs.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
The more you know.
Right.
That sounds like you're jealousy talking, but that's fine. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I just want to be human, or something. I don't know.
Don't we all?
Myles, would you introduce yourself to your I can or Chelsea can? We need to know. My viewers need to know who you are.
Yes. I'm Myles Weber. I'm a stand-up comedian and best friend to Chelsea Bearce. Right here, best friends in big air quotes.
Yeah, gross.
I'm a comedian. We're friends. We work together a lot and tour all around the country, and also out of the country sometimes as well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
International best friends.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cute. And so we've been doing content and doing shows and stuff like
Yeah.
that throughout the quarantine,
Mhm.
going live and doing things like that. So he lives in Vegas. I'm in the Bay Area. So every time we can get together and do content, it's awesome. So he decided to join me on your little segment today.
Yes. I figured I was doing nothing, and this was something, and that's better than that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Anytime. It's already been great. It's been 2 minutes, and I've dropped 3 Disney references.
Awesome. Well, what are we talking about today? Besides
Okay.
Disney.
Let me tell you.
Something very important.
This is very important.
It's
okay.
what all the kids are talking about.
Everyone's talking about it, so let's get into it.
We gotta get it out of the way.
We're gonna have a debate now.
Yes.
On Instagram, I'm Chocknilla, CHOCNILLA. That's half chocolate, half vanilla. Get it? Follow me.
It's there.
Now, every afternoon when my child goes to sleep, I do something called Nap Time Talks, and we
Yeah.
have a debate on Instagram Live with all of my followers. I have 7. So, and they follow, and we have a discussion. So we're going to have one of the most heated discussions that we've had on my Nap Time Talks
Yes.
Instagram Live show,
Yes.
right here on the Suzette Veneti Show live
Yes.
on Twitch.
Yes.
Right
Ready?
here. I'm ready.
The question is,
Yes.
is a Pop-Tart a ravioli?
No.
I don't know how you can say no.
I just did. No. And I'm sure that transitions into another different series of languages. I wish everybody could see Mean Dave's face right now, because his face is, I can only describe it as a man who thinks that a Pop-Tart isn't a friggin' ravioli.
Right.
Is
that
it-
or he's
Hold on.
so-
Is it possible to show Mean Dave's face?
Yeah,
and
can we
and
show
keep
his
Myles
face?
and
He's
Chelsea.
clenching right
We've
now.
never done this. We've never gone
He's
three.
pissed off.
We've never gone 3 people.
okay.
Okay,
I mean,
we're
don't hurt
gonna
yourself.
switch
Don't
over
hurt-
and switch back.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Keep your face, Dave. Keep your face.
Hold on
Keep
to
your
it.
face.
Remain that discomfort. Clench.
Yep, squeeze it. Squeeze it.
It's okay. There you go. Like you're trying to crack an egg. Come on.
I'm gonna say no. Actually, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know whose side that is, but I'm gonna say no.
Oh, okay. My stance is a ravioli is a pouch of food and flavoring, right?
Mhm.
What is a Pop-Tart? A pouch of food and flavoring.
Would you call cheese flavoring? Do you say that in any other dish? Do you call like, can I get a burrito with guacamole and extra flavoring, please? Could you put some of that on there? Who the fuck says that?
I'm gonna start. That
Yeah.
sounds delicious.
They're gonna call you a gringo, which seems counterproductive.
Well, they might call her a gringa. I mean, they might also be having pronoun issues.
Oh,
But
word.
I want to say this. Usually, because I watch these and I keep tabs on these nap time. What is nap time theories?
Yeah, clearly you watch. You don't even
No,
know
I
the
do.
title.
I do. I'm always late, so I miss the name of the segment. But I always watch, and I usually always agree with you, Chelsea. And then Myles comes in,
As you should.
almost like he just is like taking the other side to take the other side. And like the other day, it was about
confrontational. That's weird.
Oh yeah, I know. Myles, no, it was the straw. That was the debate. Was the straw? Is it one
You're
hole?
gonna switch our conversation.
or is it two?
I see what you're doing.
No,
Okay.
I'm not. I'm just saying I agreed with
like
you.
Your show, you're fucking in charge. All right, you can
One
have it.
hole.
Go
No, I'm back to ravioli now. And here's the thing. I agree with Myles. He made a good point about the flavoring, but also as the only Italian, I don't know, Myles, are you Italian?
Yeah. I'm half Italian.
Oh yeah, Chelsea, you're Italian too.
Oh shit.
Me too.
I just
Don't
realized
let
it.
them
I just realized it. Okay, fine. Well,
Together we make one Italian and a half black.
I'm Ursula, bitch. I'll fucking kill you. I'll get big and I'll come out of a lake and it's gonna be bad.
That's the half black side, except for the part about the lake.
yes.
get
Well,
it?
then I have to say, I'm also Italian, and I, as a self-respecting half Italian Chelsea, how can you call a Pop-Tart a ravioli?
I didn't say which stance I was holding on to.
Oh.
Maybe I'm just being confrontational now because it's more exciting to watch. I don't
Oh God, it is funny when you're wrong.
know. It's shut the fuck up. Okay, my whole thing, and someone made a very good point that one is a pasta and one is a pastry, so they can't even be in the same category.
Yeah.
Because what? Oh, now you're taking that? Is that your
It's not.
stance?
Yeah, my stance is that a Pop-Tart is not a ravioli.
Pop-Tart is not a ravioli. What
No.
constitutes a ravioli? It has to be savory. So if a Pop-Tart had cheese in it, what
No.
then? What is it?
I don't think a Pop-Tart...
Have you ever tried to boil a Pop-Tart?
Yeah, that wouldn't work. A ravioli doesn't have to be savory.
I actually had to think. Isn't that bad? I was like,
That is bad.
Yeah.
That is bad that
Though you're a
Good
mom.
job, though.
You're a mom, so things like that happen on accident, on purpose. You never know. But when it comes to like a dessert ravioli, I could do that, but that would have to be made from dough and then some sort of filling, like chocolate.
I mean, we could go downstairs and throw a couple raviolis in the toaster and see who gets down. I mean, we can test the theory.
shit, I'll eat anything. I'm Ursula.
It's very, very true.
Shit. I'll eat anything.
She'll fuck with us.
All right. Okay, we'll go with yours. Okay.
Okay.
A Pop-Tart. The only reason I'm asking is because they're both pouches. You
Mhm.
heat them up. You eat them. It's a self-contained food. That's why it was a question.
It's
Okay?
it's a good one. It's a good one. I think they're different classes. I've been more vexed before with the debates. This one,
So, okay, would you call a Hot Pocket a ravioli?
what I call a hot
Ooh.
pocket or ravioli. Yes.
Oh man.
I would.
I just
That's
blew
not
your minds
You
right
did.
now.
You
not
did.
bad.
Oh, do you boil a Hot Pocket?
Wait.
I don't think you
In
do, but I
in
think-
St. Louis, there is a thing called toasted ravioli, and it's famous, and it is like a Pop-Tart. Not a Pop-Tart, a Hot Pocket.
No, it's like a Hot
It's like a
Pocket.
Hot
Like a Hot Pocket. I'm getting my brand names mixed up. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay.
Terrible, terrible.
We were just gonna do the rest of Jim Gaffigan's act.
Um,
The rest of our set.
That's funny to no one. Okay, so that was my question. Was we were just gonna debate if a if a ravioli, if a Pop-Tart was a ravioli, which
See?
I guess we're saying no.
It
But
happens.
I'm saying that a Hot Pocket is a ravioli. That's what I'm gonna say. A big ass fucking ravioli.
Yeah, that checks out. I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hot Pocket's like white trash ravioli.
So
Oh.
I feel like this dress is a pouch, and I feel like I'm delicious filling. Am I a ravioli?
Oh Lord Lord Jesus.
Nah, you're a hot pocket.
Remember when
Okay.
Ariel was learning to walk and she was wearing a tarp with a rope? That's your ravioli, bitch. That's
Yeah,
when you're
yeah. But here's that's the best. It's the best analogy for me that anyone's ever come up with, and the fact that you're Ursula makes it even better. But the one thing that breaks the analogy and doesn't work is, would you want to steal my voice?
Oh, hell no.
That's a very good point.
No. That's where we enter Bizarro World, and you would want to steal mine.
Oh.
Oh, man.
I would watch that cartoon.
Parody, I feel it. Let's write it, bitch. It's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God.
At the next drag brunch, I'm dressing up as Ursula. We're going to fucking make it happen.
Oh, I know. I'm gonna dress up in a sack with a rope and then just stumble around because that's
I know that you have that gown. I know that.
Can we reimagine the Little Mermaid, where Ursula is the protagonist and Ariel is the antagonist, and this little white bitch comes up on this soulful black woman who sings, and can we please? I think we just made $1 million.
I'm just happy you think
idea.
that I'm soulful. That's
I mean,
great.
I
what-
didn't say you. I said the character.
Here's the thing.
So you could get inspired by, but
we're not doing anything. We could just film this next week.
Great, done.
easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consider it done.
Got
Let's do it.
got
Let's make it. And
Okay.
we're gonna cosplay at brunch, and I'll be Ariel. You can be Ursula. Myles,
Yes.
you can come too. I don't know
Yes.
what you're gonna. Prince Eric. I don't know. You can be somebody.
Oh my God.
Oh man, I could be Prince
You
Eric.
can be Prince Eric.
Do I get to wear a neckerchief? Is
Oh,
that
yeah,
what
that's a
white
thing.
guys in Disney movies wear?
Yeah. Can I be in purple face? Is that okay?
No, I don't think
Ursula's
you're supposed to do
purple.
that.
Oh, you can't do purple
I don't
face?
think you can do purple face.
All right.
We have to ask somebody who's purple. Do we know any purple people? There you
They've all been eaten.
This has gone to a place. Thanks for having us, Suzette. Love you.
Love you too, Myles. Will you come back as a guest sometime so I can interview you?
go. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Have me on, and we'll talk shit.
Thank you. Okay, cool. I love you both. I love you,
Yeah.
Chelsea. I'll message you
Love you,
later.
man.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, that was Chelsea Bearce and Myles Weber, and Chelsea's Venmo information was on the screen, and you can hit her up and you can follow her. And we didn't have Myles's because we didn't know he was going to be on the show until last minute. But if you wanna Venmo Myles, just Venmo Chelsea, say this is for Myles, and they'll probably split it. A lot of fun, love them both. Great follows, great comedians. Make sure to catch them live if you can. Same with Mean Dave, amazing follow, amazing comedian, amazing live show. And with Mean Dave, catch his show In the Meantime. I forgot to say that because I was still in somber mode. So catch In the Meantime with Mean Dave. Chelsea and Myles have a show every Saturday night called, I'm going to try to remember it, This Zoom Show Is Not a Joke. I think that's right. They just logged out, so I didn't get their response. Anyhow, we're going to go with the first interview guest. Let's see. A Queen of Queens. I needed my screen to switch over. She was one of the original hosts of the Sunday Showcase at Sidetracks on Sundays in Sacramento. And she hosts the Pride Night in Vacaville, California. But right now, you can still catch her hosting Pride Night Live. The next show is June 6th. Peers and Queers, Megan Pixel.
Hello, Suzette. Can you
Hi,
hear me
Megan.
okay?
How are you?
I'm blessed.
Yeah?
Yep. Oh, goodness. Can you hear me okay? My internet connection's kind of shoddy, and my MacBook is old as dirt.
No, everything's great. I gotta say, you are coming in crystal clear.
Well, welcome to my kitchen. I'm sure you can see it from your porch, but
Yes. My audience knows that I live next to Clifton, and now they know I also live next to you.
yes.
Well, thank you for joining us and inviting us into your kitchen. Have you been doing much during the pandemic?
Not much. I was laid off of work. I was furloughed temporarily. And then come to find out my job at Nordstrom Arden Fair, they were like, you know what? This mall's terrible. We're just going to cut out. So they just announced that they were closing the store. So, you know, I've just been applying for jobs, taking it easy, spending time with my boyfriend, all that fun stuff, go on hikes all the time, you know, just staying busy, but also being responsible in the things that I do outside of the house, because of course, with everything going on, you know,
Sure.
it's better to be safe than sorry, but at the same time, I need to get out of the house.
Well, no, and I think as restrictions are relaxing a little bit, It's good to make sure to get out of the house. And even if there's still social distancing in place, it's good to get some vitamin D and get some exercise and go for a walk in the sun.
Absolutely. One thing I'm refusing
Yeah.
to do, though, I'm not going to any restaurants for a while. I'm not stepping foot in a mall for a while. Even if those things open up, to me, the risk is too great. And, you know, just for my own personal anxiety, I'm not going to put myself in a position where, you know, I may potentially get this disease, at least until, you know, there's some sort of treatment or vaccine.
That's responsible not to want to catch it until there's a treatment. I think you're doing your part to help keep to curb the numbers. Or is it keep the curve low, or I think it should be curb the numbers, because let me just say, you look fantastic, and you definitely are not hiding the curves today. So thank you for looking so good.
You don't want to see what's not being shown on camera.
What's that?
You don't want to see what's not on camera. I'm not wearing hips or nothing. I'm like, you're getting titties and hair. Speaking of which, I just made this hair today. Has a bit of a harsh hairline, but I gave my hair has always frightened me when it comes to drag. I can beat a mean face, but when it comes to hair, I'm like, Luna, here's some wigs that are ratty and shitty. Can you whip me something nice?
And that would be Luna Nova, another Sacramento queen.
Yes, I love Luna Nova. She's phenomenal. One of my favorite girls.
Well, I have to say, you know, I live next door, so if you ever just want to say help me with hair, no, I'm kidding. Everyone
if
watching,
I'm going out wanting to be Sarah Jessica Parker in Hocus Pocus, I will let you know.
Yes, I can help anybody with that. How long have you been doing drag, Megan?
Almost 10 years.
10 years.
I've been doing it for almost 10 years. I started in October of 2010, like when I first kind of dabbled in it, but Megan really wasn't born until that following spring, when my original drag mother painted me for the first time and made me look like Joy Behar.
Oh, who's your original drag mother? And just
her name is Vicadonia Nightingale. She's from the East Bay.
Okay.
And then Pollo Del Mar swooped in and, I guess, I'm not going to say saved me, but saw that Vicadonia was, you know, not giving me what I needed at that time.
Sure. I know of Pollo. I don't know if she knows of me, so I won't. I mean, I'll say hi, but that's fun. So you've had 2 drag moms, 10 years. That is, I want to say, for any queens that I've interviewed on the show, I think that's the longest. What's it like to have been doing drag for 10 years? I mean, does anything come to mind?
I will say that with me, it doesn't feel like it's been 10 years, completely honest to God. It doesn't feel like I've been doing it for 10 years. There was a time where I did take a brief hiatus from drag. I put my work first, drag was secondary, and that's how I always wanted to kind of have my drag be, is I never wanted to make it a career. I never wanted to make it a job, because if I made it a job, I'd end up hating it and I'd become resentful of drag. So it was always a secondary thing. And when, you know, I started moving up in, at the time, Macy's, and then with Nordstrom, drag was always, okay, drag is going to have to fit in around my work schedule. And if my work schedule is crazy, I'm not going to do it. So I took a little bit of time away. But the thing that, you know, that comes with the length of time that I've been doing drag, and all of the younger queens that I've watched when they start to where they're at now, like when they tell me, you know, Megan, you're such an inspiration to me. You know, you are what I look up to. You know, to me, it's flattering, but it's hard for me to believe that I could be that for somebody else. Like, know what I mean?
I do, because I think people say, and no one says that, you know, I'm an inspiration, but people do like me, and it still boggles my mind why. So I can kind of get that. But I mean, you have been around for a good amount of time, and you were there before a lot of other people, and you're so good. So I can see why people would say you're an inspiration. How would you say that drag, I want to say let's make it about Sacramento drag at first in this question. How would you say Sacramento drag has changed in the last 10 years?
Well, I haven't been around Sacramento drag for all of 10 years because I started off in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Okay.
And I will tell you, God, why can't I talk? San Francisco drag and Sacramento drag are like two different countries with two different languages and two different styles, first and foremost. San Francisco drag, I found that I really didn't fit in as much because I've always been drawn to more of like the glamour side of drag, whereas San Francisco is always, let's tell a story, or let's look scary, or let's look gory, or, you know, let's be funny. I'm not any of those things. I can give myself a little bit of an edge. Whereas Sacramento, when I first started up here, it was such a medley of different styles. You know, we have like the big hair and the beaded in hairlines of the Imperial Court. We have the baby queens that are wearing something off the rack at Forever 21. And then we had more of the, and then we have more of like, you know, the seasoned queens like not Suzette, just kidding. Taryn, sorry, I was looking right at you, so your name came out. Like Taryn Through You, who has been like the drag mother of all of Sacramento. Mm-hmm. So I would say that Sacramento drag is a lot more diverse and than San Francisco. San Francisco, it's just very different. But since I've been up here, especially when I was hosting Sidetracks, one thing that I loved is that each of those hosts, we all brought something different, and each host kind of catered to a different type of drag queen that wanted to perform.
That's really cool. And I think that's something that still exists today. There's different types of styles that the queens have, and you can go to the Sunday showcase at Sidetracks in Sacramento on a Sunday, and a lot of S's in that sentence. And it can be a different show from week to week based on who's hosting and who's in it. Not a better or a worse show. It's just a little bit different because the queens there's such an array of talent. I'll say in Sacramento. How would you say that drag has changed? 2010 to 2020 is kind of, I want to say, an important time publicly for drag. How would you say it's changed from when you started, and not just in Sacramento or San Francisco, but kind of every, where that you've noticed? How would you say it's changed from then to now in your experience?
Well, what I'm about to say is very controversial, but I love conflicts. But in my heart of hearts, I really do believe that RuPaul's Drag Race and the popularity that it has kind of ruined the meaning of what drag is. And the reason that I say that is because you have all of these drag queens now that instead are doing it for the love of the art and, learning the craft, learning how to do their makeup, learning how to do their hair, learning how to make their outfits. They're trying to be this queen that they're seeing on TV, which is fine. It gives them the motivation. My drag inspiration was always Chanel from season 1 of RuPaul's Drag Race. I love her to death. But I feel like as the Drag Race monster got bigger and bigger and bigger, it stopped becoming, a passion of, I want to do this because for activism, or I want to do this for entertainment or for comedy. It kind of became this thing where, I'm trying to be on the show, or I'm trying to be this drag queen, and, I'm going to take out a loan to buy this expensive gown, but I don't know how to lip sync properly. Like, it just created this vain sort of idea of what drag is. And thankfully, I don't see that as much in Sacramento. A majority of the queens that I've interacted with in Sacramento are very humble. They make their own outfits, they do their own hair. Some of them have aspirations to be on Drag Race, which is great. I at one time wanted to be on Drag Race, but I don't desire that anymore. But, in the grand scheme of things, I think that it's the priorities of what drag have shifted.
Interesting. I will say that being that, you know, because I have one foot in the comedy world and one foot in the drag world, and I've noticed that sometimes people start doing comedy or drag just because they don't know what else to do, and they think that it's a great way to become famous, and that's what they want. Whereas I know I can't help myself from making a joke, whether it's appropriate or not, in line at the grocery store or in line at the bank. I want to entertain and dance around and lip sync, even if 3 people are going to watch. It's just something I have to do. And so I see what you talk about sometimes in other performers, and it's like, oh, do you want to do this, or do you just want to, is this just an avenue to becoming famous?
Exactly. Yeah, that's my thing. Like, I can speak for myself. One of the reasons why I wanted to do drag is because growing up, I was an incredibly insecure person. And when I have all of this on, all of my insecurities are gone. You wouldn't catch me dead as Andrew 10 years ago on a stage in front of people, performing, lip syncing, or doing anything like that. But the minute I got this on, I was just a totally different person. So I use it as a medium to better myself and, you know, build up my self-esteem, because, you know, for so long I was, you know, ashamed of who I was, not sexuality wise, but, you know, appearance wise. And, you know, I'm covered in acne scars and shit like that. So drag was a vehicle for me, is kind of like a therapy sort of thing. It was never about, you know, I want to become famous. It turned into that when, you know, I wanted to get on RuPaul's Drag Race because that's what everybody wanted. But then, you know, I sat back and I, you know, was like, do I really want this? Do I really want to put myself out there and be ridiculed by, you know, the entire nation? You know, and that's a whole different subject we can talk about.
No, that there is a difference, and I think there's a difference between starting it and then once you're in it, like you were, aspiring to get to what's perceived as the top, which would be the show, as opposed to starting doing it so you can be in the show.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you have performed over 10 years, I'm sure, in so many different kinds of venues. What's the most interesting venue you've performed in?
Probably the most interesting venue I've ever performed in was a restaurant in Pacifica. It was some hole-in-the-wall Mexican restaurant in Pacifica, California. The pay was really, really good, but it was the first time I'd ever done like sort of a restaurant gig.
Mm-hmm.
And it was weird. Like, have you ever seen the movie Hedwig and the Angry Inch?
I haven't, actually.
Okay, well, there's the scene in Hedwig and the Angry Inch where she is down on her luck. She has no money. Her boyfriend left her, stole all of her music, and is performing her music and making a big name for himself. So she's stuck doing these sort of performances in Chinese buffet restaurants, and like, you know, walking, you know, down the line of tables and getting in people's laps and such. And that, in that moment, that is exactly how I felt. I felt like Hedwig, down on her luck, performing in a damn restaurant where people were not interested in watching me perform at all.
Yeah, that's bringing back some PTSD for me.
Nothing is worse than performing and then having people look at you like you have fucking foreheads.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to hang out and watch the rest of the show, but the next interview guest, he is a phenomenal comedian, and a lot of the time, as a comedian, you end up in a bar where people don't want to hear comedy, but somehow they're there, and you're going to do what you're going to do. That hasn't happened to me with drag yet. Luckily, I haven't, but I've been there, just not with lip syncing. You've done some virtual shows since this all started. How would you compare and contrast virtual shows to shows in real life?
I prefer performing and hosting in front of real people. Like, when I talk and when I speak on a microphone, it's always reactionary. And even, you know, I wouldn't say that I'm a comedian by any stretch of the term. But even when I, you know, make funny quips or I have people laugh, it's always a reactionary thing. So when I'm sitting in my living room or in my hallway with a sequin backdrop and I'm talking to my phone, recording these videos, it feels so inauthentic and disingenuous. It's so difficult. I would much rather be in front of people.
Yeah.
Like the digital thing, I understand that it's, you know, a necessary thing at this point in time. But if I cannot wait till I'm back in front of a crowd of people, because I'm struggling.
It's a bit sterile, but if I can say, I think you are hosting a great show in Pride Night Live, and the next one, of course, is on June 6th. And I know that performing in front of people is why we all do this, but we're getting closer, and at least we have the digital ability to perform in the meantime.
Yeah.
What goes into preparing for a drag show for you?
Well, for me, I'm the type of drag queen where I get ready at the club when it comes to putting all of my outfits on. Right now, I would consider myself a lot lazier in my drag than I used to be. I used to have a lot of really nice drag, a lot of nice wigs, nice outfits, colored contacts, jewelry, you know, outfits for days. And I had my entire drag bag stolen from the secure parking area of his apartment complex. It was some guy that I was dating. I left my bag in the car. I figured, you live in a gated community, this should be fine. Well, it got stolen. So, you know, I vowed at that point in time, if I see any bum walking around with some ratty Christina Aguilera hair, then I know exactly who took my bag. But
that makes it sound like it was me. I just want to point out that it was not me.
No, it was not you. You know, like when I have that big curly hair that I have that I need to steam and reset at this point because it's starting to look like a damn blonde afro. But when it comes to preparing, you know, I always start with my makeup first. You know, I always go to the club ready to perform, but I just have a face on, boy clothes, get into the club. That's when I start putting my 4 pairs of tights on, my hips, my tits, my 2 corsets, the whole 9. Because I don't want to drive in that shit. Who wants to drive in that shit? And the one time I had a show in San Francisco, I was hosting the door at the Monster Show in San Francisco at the Edge, and I was in full drag, tits, hair, everything. And I got pulled over on the fucking Bay Bridge in full drag. It was the most awkward experience of my entire life. And the reason I got pulled over is because I had my seatbelt off because, you know, I'm not a woman. I don't know what seatbelts are supposed to feel like on my tits.
They go
so
in between.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable. So I didn't have my seatbelt on and I got pulled over in full fucking drag.
What did the officer? Do you mind me asking what the officer said or what you said? What did that traffic stop? What was that like?
He was very respectful. Obviously, my ID was me as a guy. So I kind of had to explain to him, like, yeah, I'm on my way to a show, blah, blah, blah. He still gave me a ticket.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't like this horror story of, like, being misgendered or looked down upon. I mean, I would think that a San Francisco police officer would, you know, has probably seen everything.
Probably. But I was hoping maybe you got out of the ticket because you were so glam. No. All right.
No, these phone kids have no power.
Well, also, like, there is no excuse not to wear a seatbelt, but that is a good one. Like, so he could have left you off with a warning.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to do your makeup?
I like to give myself about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And I mean, I know that seems like a long time, but you know, I like to sit down, put on some music or watch some YouTube videos. The most troubling thing in doing my makeup has always been my eyes, especially covering my eyebrows and making sure my eyeshadow gets blended properly, because sometimes it'll become just a fucking muddled mess. So that's the thing that I take the most time on.
Well, let me ask, you mentioned that you kind of took a hiatus. What got you to come back after a hiatus?
A couple things. You know, a lot of it was the encouragement of the other Sacramento girls that had said that they missed me and that, you know, I was an inspiration to them. And it took a lot for me to actually see it in myself. And I actually developed a close friendship with I Am Thunder. And, you know, she kind of lit a creative outlet in me that I hadn't had in a while. So she inspired me to start making more outfits and, you know, improvise and conceptualize different performances and different numbers and things like that. So her and Luna really, you know, when we all hung out before this whole pandemic happened, they were like, girl, you need to fucking come back. Like, we need you out there. So, you know, I finally was in a place where I could accept that, you know what? I am somebody that people can look up to and people have looked up to. You know, I'm not, because that's the thing. Like, I never saw myself as, you know, any great drag queen. I'm not a dancer. I always say that I'm a prancer before I'm a dancer. You will never see me do a damn death drop. And if I do, it'll be with both legs and I'll be sore in the morning. But, you know, I'm not one of these drag queens that goes out there and does an 8 count and full on choreography. So, and I always compared myself to those girls. And I'm like, I'm not that type of drag queen. I don't do that. But these are the girls that are getting the tips. Therefore, I'm a shitty drag queen. So why are these people
Right. It is
telling me that I'm like this great, you know, cornerstone of the drag community when, you know, I'm not, you know, it's just, but they really beat it into me and motivated me to start doing more things, and I came back.
Well, a virtual thank you to I Am Thunder and Luna Nova. I have a couple viewer questions. A couple viewer questions, and then you had some photos you wanted to talk about. So viewer question from Taryn in Sacramento. You're a Kylie Minogue fan, right?
Yes, I love Kylie Minogue.
What's the one Kylie Minogue song that you just are disappointed in?
That I'm disappointed in? It's not necessarily a song. It's honestly probably the whole album of Golden. I was not a fan of that album at all. Dancing was okay, but the rest of the album, I was just kind of like, can we get some Aphrodite, please? Like, Aphrodite to me is, Aphrodite and X are two of my favorite albums by her. But yeah, I'd probably say, you know, not just one song, but the entire Golden album. I gave it one listen to. It was just like Lady Gaga's Joanne. I was not a fan of Lady Gaga's Joanne.
Okay.
You know, I love a good beat. I love a good 8 count. I love a good music where I can flip my hair and all that shit. So yeah, that's
another.
But question. I love Get Out of My Way.
Okay.
From Aphrodite. Everyone knows that is the song that if I have nothing to perform, I will perform that song.
It's good to have a standard, like a go-to.
Yeah.
Another question from Taryn in Sacramento.
If you've seen Megan perform, you've probably seen her perform that number.
That's not a bad thing. Everyone has what they're known for. Another question from Taryn in Sacramento. If you were going to do a song and it wasn't going to be a top 40 song, what song would it be?
Are we talking top 40 today?
I think ever.
Top 40 ever?
Mm-hmm.
God, that is such a good question. I mean, I perform songs that, you know, aren't necessarily top 40. Oh, God, I'm going to have to scroll through my phone to see what music. Because, I mean, I have my
Sure. Well, while you do that, let's throw up a picture and let's talk about, you wanted to talk about these pictures.
Oh, God.
Which one are we putting up first? Oh, okay. Well, can you talk about the pictures? I'm not sure which one we're putting up first. Does it matter?
Oh, yeah, I can talk about the pictures.
Okay, tell us about the pictures.
Wait, what pictures are we talking about?
The ones that you emailed to me.
Oh, are they up right now?
Yeah.
Oh, which one is up right now?
They're going to be.
Okay. Tell me which one is up, because I can't see on my end.
The black flower one.
Oh, Jiminy Christmas.
Thank you, Jesse.
So, hold on, let me double check, see which one it is. Ooh, so I had been doing drag, I think it was about a year or 2 years into, hold on, I'm pulling it up myself, I need to make sure. Okay, so that was the first time that I thought that I could style a wig. And literally all that is a black bob with a black kind of regular wig on top of it that I got actually at Evangeline's in Sacramento, because I went up to Sacramento at one point. But I just thought I was just the fucking cat's meow. And that gray flower, let me tell you about the fucking gray flower. That gray flower ended up having its own Twitter account because at the time my drag mother, Pollo Del Mar, used to read me constantly because every single hair that I wore, I put that damn flower in it. But yeah, I got that outfit at Rainbow. The necklace I got at Rainbow. Earrings I got at Rainbow. I was using this cheap palette I got off of, I think it was like eBay, and it had like 200 colors in it. Yeah, I just thought I was the ish, and I cropped her out, but I'm actually standing next to Maxine Pad. She still does drag in the Bay Area.
Okay.
She's an amazing performer as well.
And what's the other picture that you brought?
Oh, the other picture. Okay. That one. That one, I always say that I look like a dusty drag version of Miss Piggy in that photo. That was one of my original Christina Aguilera hairs. And the outfit I got at another store in Vallejo, because that's where I'm from. But yeah, I loved my blue eyeshadow and my McDonald arch eyebrows. You can tell my lashes are wonky. But yeah, that was when I first started. And like I said, everyone told me I was beautiful. Everyone told me I was fish. Everyone told me that I was just everything. And I believed them. And it wasn't until my drag aunt, Becky Motor Lodge, took me aside and she said, Megan, girl, I'm just going to be real with you. You can do so much better. So let's sit down and let's play with makeup. And she pretty much helped put me on the path to looking like this.
I will say, I think you're beautiful, and I think those pictures don't do you justice. And I think that you talked about Pollo and your drag aunt, and I have to say that I agree. Like, I would be nothing without my drag mom, my drag aunts, my drag family. So that is really important to me too. And some people get there without the help, but the help sure is appreciated from me, and I think from you as well.
Yeah.
Right on.
And to answer the question that Taryn asked about a song that's not a top 40 song, one of my favorite songs to perform that's not a top 40 is actually the James Bond, The World Is Not Enough number from Garbage. I love doing that number. I love Garbage. And it's one of those songs that I feel like I can really just give it my all. It doesn't require any dancing. It just requires selling a really great lip sync, and I can do it in like a nice slinky black gown. So song that's not top 40 that I love doing, or that I, would do, is The World Is Not Enough by Garbage.
It's a good choice. Are you ready for rapid fire questions?
I'm ready.
Okay. What is your favorite thing about the existence of brunch?
The existence of brunch? Chicken fried steak.
What is a drag name that you ended up not using?
That I ended up not using? Megan's Law.
Oh, okay. I like Megan Pixel, but I like Megan's Law. Do you name your wigs?
I do not.
What's your favorite color wig?
My favorite color wig? Probably, I call it my Piper Laurie wig, but that was before Luna Nova took it over, because it kind of looked like Carrie's mother, which is brown and frizzy, but it's like this reddish brownish color. Okay. You've probably seen it. It's the one that I would always style up and down to the side.
I think I have. When you put on a bra, do you put it on and clasp it in front and then spin it, or do you stretch around to the back to clasp it?
Oh, I clasp it in the front and then spin it around. And then I pull my chest fat on top of my tits.
That's
on top of my stuffing. So then it gives me like a sort of a cleavage-ish look.
Hey, that's a good trick for anybody watching that wants to try drag. How high is too high for high heels?
For high heels? God, that is a good question. So this is the thing. I can only wear shoes that have ankle support. So I can't wear a platform stiletto or anything like that. It has to have an ankle support. But I'd probably say anything more than like 6 inches, and I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. What is the funniest thing an audience member ever said to you after a show?
It's not really it wasn't really during a show. And I'm probably getting this totally wrong, but my drag sister, Sandra, oh no, she didn't. So me and there was this other person in our drag house. I'm not going to say her name just in case she ends up reading this. Well, I'm going to have to. So there was this other drag queen that I was in a drag house with. Her name was Jill Feltafish. Love her to death. She's a sweet girl. She moved up to Portland. But there was this gag that everyone said that we were like the Doublemint twins and that we looked so much alike, but we looked nothing alike. And I used to always get so offended anytime somebody would say that we looked alike. So anywho, I'm performing at the cafe in San Francisco and I'm shaking my ass and doing my thing and feeling myself. And Sandra is holding out a $1 bill and I go to grab it and she goes, "Come on, Jill." And she like rattled me so much because, you know, she's reading me as I'm performing, saying that I look like a drag queen that at the time I was like mortified to be even compared to.
Okay. When you hang toilet paper, do you hang it so it hangs over or under?
Under.
Okay. Who's your favorite drag queen? Wait, hold on. You go toilet paper like you have to pull up from the bottom?
Yeah, so it's like here's the roll and the wall. It hangs like this, so then I can like pull it and tear it.
You're the only person so far to answer it that way.
Really?
Yeah, everyone else is an over.
It seems so. Hold on, I just. Next question.
Okay. Your favorite drag queen?
My favorite drag queen?
Mm-hmm.
Favorite drag queen? Goodness. Honestly, the one that really like inspired me that I just wanted to, you know, just, oh, she's so beautiful. Chanel from season 1 of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Favorite drag?
If we're talking famous drag queens, if we're talking like dear friend drag queens, I would probably say Becky Motorlodge. She doesn't do drag anymore, but she really helped, you know, motivate me and propel me to where I am right now.
Favorite drag king?
I would probably say Axel Andrews. He's out of Florida. He's a bio king as well, but I like what he brings. He's very different with the sort of like male presenting drag that he does. And I love the conceptual numbers that he comes up with. He's something that I haven't really ever seen in the drag king community.
Cool. People should check him out. And finally, what are you looking forward to most once the quarantine is lifted, social distancing isn't in place, and we can just go back to normal?
Having an actual job again, you know, because right now I'm unemployed. That's the one thing that I just want back. And I feel like just having a job will give me a sense of normalcy.
Right.
Because I mean, I can go shopping if I want to. I can go out to eat at a restaurant if I want to. But you know, these unemployment benefits are going to run out, and I need a damn job.
Okay.
So having the you know, more employment opportunities.
Well, if anyone is watching and they need to hire somebody, I can't think of a better person. I don't know what the job is for, but I would recommend you for it.
I mean, I would honestly do anything. I'm not too proud to shovel shit or mow a lawn.
Right on.
I was Instacart for a while, so I mean, once my unemployment runs out, if I don't have something, I have an interview with the state on Thursday.
Good luck.
We will see how that goes.
Good luck. That's all I got, Megan. Anything else? We can put up your picture, your poster of the show you're hosting on Saturday.
Yes.
Anything else before you go?
All I can say is thank you so much for having me. It's been fun. Anybody that's watching, tune in Saturday, June 6th for our Pride Night live show. We have a great cast of queens. Twitch.tv/Pride Night Vacaville. Once I get done with this, I'm actually going to record some things for that show and probably flip my hair in this kitchen to some music, and as I figure out what I want to perform. But yeah, Twitch.tv/Pride Night Vacaville.
Well, thank you for coming on. It was really a pleasure and an honor to have you here. And I'll have to wave when I walk home.
Yes, and I'm going to have to swing by and pick up those damn lights.
Yeah, I don't know how to light things. Okay, well, thank you so much. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. And everyone should tune in on Saturday.
All right, thank you so much.
Bye,
love
Megan.
you too. Bye.
Peers and Queers, that was Megan Pixel, and you can find her on her social media handle that we displayed, and you can also find her hosting Pride Night Live. That was twitch.tv/Pride Night Live, I believe. It was on the poster, so if I'm messing it up, that's what it was. And with that, we're going to move on to my next guest. Oh, no. Hold on. I asked my next guest for his intro, and then I read it, and I just didn't put it on the... You know what? I'm just going to bring him on and ask him, because it's lost in a message somewhere, because I didn't move it onto the document, and I suck. I'm so sorry. He's fantastic. He's amazing. I love him as a comedian and a person. Peers and Queers, Sal Calanni.
Did you just fuck up my intro, bro?
I did. What was your intro?
I don't even remember. Oh,
Dry Bar.
I got an album somewhere on Sirius XM, but it's not playing.
Little Dago.
Because of COVID right now, really. Well, not really. How's it going?
It's going all right. How about you?
The world's going crazy, man. They're looting the Adidas store outside. It's insanity right now.
And you're in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, didn't you feel weird doing the show with the world burning?
Yeah, no, we covered that at the top of the show. It's a little bit weird. So I wanted to acknowledge it because things aren't normal.
No, it's crazy.
You know, what do you do? Because this is how things are, not looting, but the violence and the killing happens every day. And so if you stop doing it because all of a sudden all the white people noticed it, you know.
Well, now that we got camera phones.
Right. Those are important. They're helping.
Yeah, technology changed the game. That's all it is. So, yeah, no, it's been a crazy weekend. Just like following up, and it's crazy too because of COVID's going down and people are crowding together.
Right. It's weird. It's like stay 6 feet apart, and then everybody crowds together to riot and protest.
So, yeah.
So you haven't been out in the looting and rioting? You've been safe?
Hell no. I'm watching it from the helicopter cameras in the comfort of my own apartment.
That's it. I'm glad that you're...
What about yourself? What do you got going on?
Well, there was some rioting in Sacramento, and I watched it last night from an apartment that was above it. I didn't plan that. That makes it sound like I knew it was coming, and I was like, oh, I got to get a good seat. It just happened. I was just visiting a friend, and
you were watching it live, like not on TV?
Yeah, like I have a cell phone video where I'm video the outside that's happening, and then I panned over to the TV coverage that was covering what was happening outside. Like I was in the window.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy because all of a sudden.
What were they doing?
What was I doing?
No, what were the rioters doing?
I was like watching. So we first noticed because there were some M80s that went off, like probably 4 of them or 5 of them before we were like, okay, what's happening? And then we looked out the window and just a bunch of cars and people just were flooding. And it's a one-way street. It's the main thoroughfare in Sacramento. But like the street just filled up, which is weird because it's COVID time. And so this isn't really normal right now, but just a flood of humanity coming down the street. And the police were flushing everybody up into the neighborhoods and away from the businesses. And they set up kind of a perimeter on this intersection that was below the window I was watching from.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Nuts. And I have a lot of thoughts about what was happening, but I don't want to interview me. I want to interview you. So what have you been up to during the pandemic besides watching?
Well, I was watching the looting last night, and they looted the Adidas store. And I don't know, but I was laughing. It made me laugh a little. Because you see a guy going in and you're like, oh, is he going to get the shoes? He's going to get away. And then he does. And then another guy's coming like, oh, he's going to get away. And then a cop knocks him down. And you're like, oh. So it was definitely, it was entertaining. We don't have live sports right now, so you got to watch the looting out the Adidas store.
That's what I was going to say. It sounds like you were watching a Browns game.
Oh, it was good, except they didn't win. I don't know.
I'll go ahead.
Sacks in last night's game.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and tell the audience you're from Cleveland originally, so you are a Cleveland
Ohio,
sports
baby.
fan.
I've been fighting with family all month, all 4 years of this administration, and we continue to fight to this very day, my friend.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. Do you mind talking about that?
No, man, I don't care at all.
So you are, I love following you on Facebook because you are honest and open, and I think the kids would say you put people on blast, but that's not why you do it. You do it because you are firm in what you believe and who you are, and I think it's great. And so,
well, thank you.
The question I was going to ask, I need to find it because it was at the bottom.
Did you lose it? It's probably next to my intro.
It's next. Yeah, it's next to your intro. Why is it important to be honest, open, and vigilant against the fight of ignorance?
I don't know, man. I think I grew up on it, I feel like, and I was surrounded by it, and then I moved away from it, and then I found a place where I connected with other people who were like me, and it kind of opened my eyes even more. Like a lot of things in my life open my eyes in every moment, you know what I mean? So that helps. Like in Cleveland, Cleveland's a very segregated town, right? And the first time I really had much experience with black people, I worked at the ballpark at Jacobs Field. And, I worked in the kitchen, and a lot of days I'd be the only white guy. And that opened my eyes so much to a different world. And then I moved to San Francisco, and that opened my eyes up to the gay community in a whole nother world where you didn't have friends growing up in high school or even elementary school, junior high. It was white, man. It was all white, it was mayonnaise every day. So yeah, then everything opens your mind more. So then when I see people repeating that ignorant bullshit and supporting hate, it just drives me crazy. And hypocrisy drives me crazy too. Religious hypocrites. It's another thing. I grew up Catholic, and when you see hypocrisy, it just pisses me off. And I can't help but just everybody, So
that's part of why I love you as a person, because
well, thank you.
I agree.
And then you're opening my eyes up to the drag world. So there we go.
Oh, well, my pleasure. You should next time you're in Sacramento, catch a drag brunch. Just hang out.
I got to stay later. I always got to make the drive back, No, it's a 6-hour drive that day.
Well, I've realized what I need to do to further introduce you to the drag community. I need to book you, which is something I've been wanting to do. My list just got messed up by this whole thing. I should be 3 or 4 shows in for the year, and all of a sudden no shows. So I'm gonna get to it.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Have they told you anything about when shows can continue or no?
So it seems different because the theater I'm in right now seats about 30, right? So are they gonna be able to open before Punchline Sacramento that seats 250? Is there a difference because they're both entertainment venues?
Okay, yeah, but when's the last time you did Sac Punchline?
So I had a show on March 15th, which is the day everything got shut down. And they went ahead and canceled it on the 13th. I got an email saying, we're shutting down.
Oh, wow.
On Saturday night. Your show's Sunday. Sorry. I have a date in San Francisco on a date for a show, not a date because no one wants to date me, but I have a show date in San Francisco on July 21st, and I'm kind of curious. Right now it's still there, but are we gonna be able to put enough people in the crowd for me to be able to pay everybody? Because with social distancing, what are the rules? What's the dynamics?
Yeah, I don't know. I was supposed to do shows in San Francisco next week. I never heard. I mean, it's not going to happen. Right. And then Sacramento, I heard the other club over there did a 25% audience show, which I think is kind of strange in itself.
Laughs Unlimited. Yeah, they opened, and props to them for opening and bringing some comedy back into the world. And if they can make it work, that's great. But I know, personally, I wouldn't be able to pay everybody if I did a 25% audience show.
Yeah, I don't know how they make any money, man.
So
it's a tough game right now. It's it's a tough business to be in.
It's illegal. That's what I tell people when, you know, I talk to unemployment or whatever, and it's like, well, my job's illegal right now. I can't ask people to congregate. So this is interesting. I don't think you've watched the show, but something I've discussed with a lot of the comedians and some of the drag queens is virtual shows are out there right now, and it's possible to do them. And some comedians are, some comedians aren't. What's your take on the virtual shows?
Well, I mean, you know, if that's your jam, that's cool. I did one. I didn't really enjoy it, and you know, it's tough. I mean, I told the story. That's fun, but it's tough because, you know, in comedy you feed off of the energy from a live audience. So
yeah,
I've been doing trivia nights on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and that's been kind of fun because, you know, just asking questions and giving answers. And you know, there's some friends of mine will join, some comics I know, and we'll play around and stuff here and there. But yeah, that's just been very fun lately. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough. It's tough when a live audience is such an important part of it, you know. And you know, with these shows, like, you can't even hear a crowd laugh because you got to mute everybody because, you know, people could just talk over the comic, and there's a whole nother level of heckling here. Everybody has a mic.
That is, yeah. I mean, and what I've noticed with Zoom, like for work meetings, if I'm lucky to get any, or just, you know, playing Pictionary, somebody will drop a pen, or their cat meows, or their kid runs by, and all of a sudden the screen's on them. And I can't imagine trying to do comedy when somebody, you know, opens a can of pop, and then I can say that because you're from the Midwest too. When they open
you
a can
dropping pop. Thought you're in California, right?
No, Pittsburgh.
Oh, that's right. Pop. That's classic, man.
So when you open a can, someone opens a can of pop, and then all of a sudden the camera goes to them, and you're trying to tell a punchline. I can't imagine how frustrating that would be.
Right. Yeah. It's just. Yeah. Just and even the laugh is like delayed, you know, because of the sound. But whatever. It's still pretty damn impressive what we could do. You know, that's one thing. Everyone's complaining about not being able to leave the damn house. Look, man, like, this is the time to do this. Like, I could talk to you right now. You're 6 hours away, and we got face to face. You know, like, you could stream any movie you want right now in front of the TV. Like, it's not that bad. Okay, you could have anything delivered to your fucking house in 2 days. So it's just.
And that's a product. I mean, you can get food delivered in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, I'll go to the grocery store. It's very stressful. I don't like it, but you know, I go knock it out. It's not that big, you know, of a deal. You know what's funny? The easiest business that I've had to deal with during quarantine is the weed store. It's so easy. You just call ahead. They have the order. They wrap it up. You show up. Here's my license. Here's the money. Thank you. Bye-bye. Like the grocery store is a headache. Walgreens is a headache, but not the weed store.
How does the weed store usually work if it's not so efficient in normal times?
Well, it's just like it's just nice you can call ahead now and put your order in. That's huge, and because usually you got to sit there. There's all these idiots. Oh, I don't know what I want, and then, you know, what's this like? And I'm like, give me the cheapest shit. Let's go, baby. So now I could order it on my phone, and it's ready in like 20 minutes.
So they kind of combine the best parts of like a corner drug dealer and a weed store, and that's what we have now.
Yeah, it's the game's changed, baby.
I hope they carry that forward. Like, I hope they take that and make that part of their business going forward for you.
Yeah, keep it in the mix. Keep pickup in the mix all times.
You mentioned that you're hosting online trivia.
Yeah.
That's something that I know you used to do when you were in San Francisco. You used to do in person. Have you been doing it in LA, or did you just start doing it with the pandemic?
No, I was doing it in LA for like a year at this bar and in Silver Lake, and it's been really fun. And taco bar, mezcal margarita bar. And no, it's really good food, and it's been really cool. And we've got a little crowd who does it. And I actually do stand-up shows. I started doing stand-up shows there once a month. And we actually had a show right before everything got shut down. It was like supposed to happen the following week. So yeah, that stopped, and then yeah, I don't know. I thought about doing the trivia, and I was a little hesitant, and then my girlfriend actually kind of encouraged me, and I did it, and the first one was good, and I started doing them every week, basically since quarantine started. And then it got popular enough that the East Coast wanted to do it. So now I do Tuesdays the East Coast, Wednesday is the West Coast. But you can do them both if you want. They're both at 8:30 p.m. East Coast time, Tuesday, West Coast time, Wednesday. And I do them on Zoom myself. But yeah, they're free. It's fun.
Right on.
It really helps. Something to look forward to, you know?
Yeah, it kind of it sets you something for like, oh, now it's a Tuesday. Like otherwise you kind of lose track of days.
Yeah, it's stuff. It's fun. It's fun to interact. The people are cool. They'll Venmo you a little. And I've been giving away gifts around the house. Like I was giving away albums and T-shirts, and now I'm giving out like wildlife photography I did, and then DVDs around the house and shit.
Yeah,
but people love it, man. It's fun, and I mail it out. I went to the post office the other day and mailed out prizes.
I've noticed that on Facebook that you I don't want to say you go through strains and pains to get people prizes, but you make sure that the winners get prizes no matter what. Like I think that's
you got it, because you know they want them. It don't matter how stupid the prize is, they'll ask, "Yo, man, I never got my picture of my scorpion." You're like, all right, my bad. Or yeah, no, people want their shit, dude. Like I gave away. I did a. One time I guest hosted on a rapper's mixtape, a Mountain View rapper's mixtape, Young Stewie. And I had an extra one, and I gave that away to a winner last month. So fun times.
I like your resourcefulness in coming up with prizes.
I should get like you and like people to donate stuff. What are you, like a wig or something?
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I've been thinking about I need to do something. So maybe I can. I was supposed to have merch, and I started my merch right before, because I always look to you when I need to figure out what to do with next, like to try to be a real entertainer. And I was like, I need merchandise. Sal has merchandise, and so I got the designs, and I got the what do you call it, the prototype shirt, the test shirt, sent to me in the mail on March 9th. And I wore it, to the show. We actually had a brunch on March 15th, even though my show at Punchline got canceled. We had a brunch in Midtown, and I wore it to the show. And I was like, okay, this is cool. And I called the shop on March 16th, but they were closed, of course. So once I get some merch, I'll have to send you some, and a winner can get it.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, I would love to. I just want to say, because this was in my notes, and I didn't ask the question this way. It came up naturally. But even though I am kind of picky on, like, what comedians should be doing stand-up and which ones shouldn't, I definitely think you're good enough to. So I think it's interesting that you're not doing it, but I understand why, because, like you were saying with the crowd, like, if you're going down one line of a joke and you're making fun of, I don't know, you're making fun of politics, and they like it, you can go further, but if they don't like it, okay, maybe this isn't that crowd.
What are you talking about, like live or?
Live, yeah, doing it live.
Oh, yeah.
And that's missing from doing it online. So I just want to say I think you're a good enough comedian that I wouldn't mind watching you do a set live, but I understand why you don't want to, or streaming.
Well, yeah, no, hey, I mean, look, everybody's like, look, man, we got 200 people and they all got $10. We're going to watch you do comedy. I'll talk into my stupid laptop.
Sure, yeah, no, if I got offered that, I would have jokes ready to go.
I mean, I'm not going to, it's, and even if you write something and you want to try it, you're not going to really know if it really works.
Yeah.
I think this whole thing is weird. Like, what are you even, like, going to talk about now? It's going to be, we'll see. I mean, who knows? I don't even know when we're going back. Dude, LA is shut down, man. We got curfew at 6 o'clock now.
National Guard was dispatched.
National Guard's out there. It's crazy times, man. This whole thing is you know, from the pandemic to this, and I think there's going to be a spike. All these people swimming in the damn water together, and you know, I'm all for the protest, but man, everybody's really close.
They are really close. And they're wearing masks. I don't know if that makes a difference.
Yeah. I had a friend, he got it and he gave it to his family.
Oh wow!
And he said it was very contagious. He didn't give me much detail, but he recovered. But it took like 2 weeks, and it said it sucked. And everybody you hear from who's had it says it's like the worst 2 weeks ever.
Can I just out of curiosity? Was he like a healthy individual beforehand, or was
yeah? He's totally into yoga and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, he runs around a lot. He like does a lot. He's a hard worker. I don't know how he might have gotten it or whatever, but he was up in the Bay. So, but that's the main thing. It's very contagious. That's the thing, and it affects everyone different. But yeah, man, it can put you on your ass.
Yeah, but I've noticed the healthier people tend to deal well with it better. So just.
Well, do they? I mean, look at Chris Cuomo. He's very healthy, and he was having hallucinations in his basement.
Well, what else was he doing in his basement? That's
right.
That's my question about Chris Cuomo.
I mean, it's a virus. It don't matter. I mean,
true.
Now, yeah, it doesn't kill you usually if you're healthier. It's people who have other underlying conditions, but it will fuck you up for 2 weeks, you know?
Yeah. Well, I hope I don't find out personally. I hope you don't find out.
You have to go. Have you been leaving the house? What do you do?
I have been leaving the house, but you know, I take precautions and I'm careful, and I try to wash my hands and not touch my face and not touch my mouth. I'm pretty practiced at that. So it's kind of second nature for me, but I've been lucky so far. But you know, when I need groceries, I got to go get groceries. And
you have to go to work or no?
No work really.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So trying to do what I can do. But there's just not a lot out there. I wanted to ask, so you said you do shows on Zoom. Is there a reason that you would pick Zoom to do it as opposed to Instagram?
You mean comedy shows?
Comedy shows or trivia? Yeah.
Well, Zoom is just very, I mean, I pay for the Zoom, so it's professional, and it just like was very easy, and that was the first thing I learned. And a lot of people who play trivia, they have business jobs and stuff, so they're already kind of familiar with Zoom. And the comedy one, that was just what the guy had the format on, so that's why I did it.
Right on. Just in case anyone out there is wondering how to do that, I figured I'd ask.
Yeah, just get on Zoom. It's really easy, man.
So you have traveled all over the continent for comedy. I mean, I would say
yeah, North America, baby.
Yeah,
Canada and the U.S.
Well, you're as likely to be as in Manitoba as you are Key West. What's the craziest road story you have?
Oh, I don't know. I know a road story. I don't know, dude.
All right. Well, I won't. We can.
I have been like I don't know. I will say, like you mentioned the continent, and I was in Canada, and last time I was up there, and I was in Alberta. Okay, and the Canadians are really nice, and you'll meet some very rural people, but they're very nice. They're still pretty open-minded. They're really cool, and I was hearing about moose meat a lot. And I'm like, you guys, okay, how do you even, get moose meat? I'm like, can I get it at Walmart? And like, no, you got to know a guy, And so I would bring it up at all these shows throughout the week. And then this one guy, after the show, like, I guess he was a hunter, and he left the show and went and brought back all this frozen moose meat for me, like in jerky and sausage form. And I brought some back to the club and served it up, and then I brought some home and had a Super Bowl treat that weekend.
Was it good?
It was great. The sausage was great. It was really good, man. Like, he made it himself, so you could not get it fresher. You know what I mean? Like, Canada is a trip. Like, we were up there, and especially that far. Like, Edmonton is like the biggest city north in North America. And we went up there. It was fucking. I got booked. One time I did February. The other time I did January. It was crazy. But we were there in January, and it was this frozen lake, And I never forget, I saw this mom, and she had her ice skates, and she was pushing a stroller that instead of wheels had blades on it, and she was pushing it around the ice pond. And I was like, wow, they just adapt. Like, this is how we do it. This is how we live.
That's great. That's like something you see in a kid's book, and you're like, that's not real.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's how the wildlings, they live north of the wall, man. It's very interesting.
What's your favorite road city that you've been to?
Honestly, I don't know. There's a few, but like I really like Sacramento. That club, the Punchline in Sacramento, is one of the best clubs. I've had some of my best shows there. San Francisco is where I came up, so that's always one of my favorite. You know, it's funny. I've been doing this club in Arizona the past year now in Scottsdale, and it's a really good club. Just the way it's set up. If a club is set up, it's small, only holds like a little over 100 maybe, but like it's small. It's the laughter bounces off the walls. Like when it's good, you know, and that's what you really want. Like I'll put up with a lot if it's good shows. You know what I mean? Like you'll put up with weaker pay and not the best accommodations, but if a room is good, that's why we do it in the first place. You know what I mean? So no, you also don't want to do it for peanuts, but
for sure. But I think you're touching on something that I tell people all the time, because I produce shows, and they say like, what makes a good show, and it filling the space. If it's a room that fills 10 people, that's great. If you have 10 people and that's all it fills, get 10 people. If it's a 250 person room and you can put 250, that's when it's going to be great. You know, just filling the space. And if it's intimate, it's kind of intimate either way, even if it's like a couple hundred people, as long as it's full.
Right. It's how it's set up too. Like if it's, I mean, I've been in some rooms where it holds like 50 and it's amazing, you know? So it's, and then I've been in some that hold 100, but it sucks because it really holds 500 and it's spread out and big and like an airport hangar. That's no fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, like the Crow's Nest in Santa Cruz is really
that's
deep.
a battle, that one.
Like it's super, like you can't even see. It's like it's almost like a golf course. Like there's like a dog leg, and like you can't even see the green, and you're trying to like hit the jokes into the back corner, and you're like, I don't know, I can't see you guys.
There's always people chatting too there. I've done that club for years though. That's where I first got my hour down, or my 45 minutes was doing that club.
At the Crow's Nest.
Yeah. I mean, if you can do it there, you can do it anywhere. I saw a guy have a meltdown once at the Crow's Nest. It's a pretty funny story. Like I was there with these two other comics, Kirk Pappas and Joe Bartnick, and both of them are kind of dirty, right? And I was hosting. Kirk was doing a guest set. Joe was middling. And the headliner, I guess I won't say his name because it could be offensive, but he was like doing it. He's like a 20-year vet, of the Bay Area. He stayed at the Bay, and he's like, he's clean, right? And we went, and we all went up to him and was like, hey, you mind if we swear? It's a Crow's Nest, a bunch of drunks on a Sunday night. He's like, no, look, I've been doing this 20 years. If I can't follow you, that's my problem. So I go up, I do my thing. The guest set goes up, he gets really dirty. The middle goes up, he's kind of dirty. And then the headliner goes up, and I don't know why, but this is how he opens his set. He goes up there, and everyone loved us, and he goes up there, and he goes, all right, well, I don't need to be like those guys and use swear words to get laughs, okay? You're going to get something different. And the crowd was already like, ugh. And then he started doing his act. And for 5 minutes, these people harassing him and making fun of him and yelling at him. And this is my first time ever hosting it. And I'm just sitting in the back watching like, oh my God. And then the guys who were with me, they were outside having a smoke. And then all of a sudden he goes, I go, you guys got to see this. I poked my head outside. And then all of a sudden he goes, I don't need to put up with this. And he walks off the stage. And I was like, holy shit. And then I got to run up there and calm down the crowd. And like I told the stupid bar joke and everybody laughed. And then that was the end of the show.
Yeah, I mean, I think the trick there is don't come up and say, like, I can be funny. I don't need to do what they did. Just do it.
Yeah, don't even say it.
Yeah, just do it. Just if you're going to be funny without swearing, just be funny without swearing.
Exactly. Just do your thing. It was so weird, man. It was, but I always loved the Crow's Nest. I almost got into it once with a group of Hell's Angels at the Crow's Nest because I can't keep my mouth shut about things. And there was these Hell's Angels in the front row, just two of them, but there was, maybe two or three. But I was doing some joke, and I don't know. And then I made some message about Altamont, and where like Hell's Angels. It was supposed to be like the Woodstock of the West in 1970, and these Hell's Angels were security guards, and they killed somebody, and it was a terrible idea. And Altamont's right up there, not far from San Francisco, and these guys got all like they were laughing the whole time until I talked about that, and then they were like, "You don't talk about that," and I was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry, man. I just I like history."
They didn't like history though.
I didn't appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, definitely, I can't wait for you to come back to Sacramento. I do love my show at Punchline. And also, I'll have to bring you here to Stab Comedy Theater because it's set up pretty great.
That's in Sacramento?
Yeah, it's in Sacramento also.
Cool, man. Yeah.
So we'll have to.
Is cool to have. I saw the feed on another computer, and it looks cool. I like the background and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I love both theaters, but definitely Stab is pretty cool because
theaters are always the best performance spaces too because there's less distractions. Everyone's there. They're focused around you. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, definitely. Finally, you are a voice in a video game.
Yeah, old video game. But yeah, well, it's a couple of years old now. Spike Lee directed a movie in an NBA 2K game, NBA 2K16, and I play one of the recruits in the game. It was just a one-day shoot for me, but it was pretty cool. I got to, I auditioned for him, and then I got to be on the set, and then he thanked me afterwards, shook my hand afterwards. It was a really cool feeling. Like I really had, really had to memorize all weekend. I hate when I had the audition and then they changed the script for when I got the part, and then you're like, oh, I gotta relearn.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool, man. It was cool. I have a little picture of it up on my wall. I felt like they got like half my face right.
Like the top half, bottom half, right half, left half.
Yeah, just a little like one half, and then I was like Two-Face. I feel it's funny. I did a show, one of the shows I did in Arizona last year, and these two kids, like in the late teens, recognized from the video game.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Man.
Did you ever think to yourself like I should voice a video game character or a cartoon character?
Oh, I would love to. But I've only I've never really succeeded much on any voice memo game. Like I think it's such a specific voice. Like it's not like a clean corporate selling voice. It's hey, that's the cartoon character that lives in the trash cans character. That's the voice I got. So if there's that part, I want to kill it, but I haven't found it yet.
Well, I'm gonna have to write something because I think you have a great voice for.
Well, I would love it. I would appreciate it. I would do it for say, hey, look, I'm willing to do this show. I'd do anything for you.
Oh, well, thank you. So I am to the point in my interview where I'm gonna ask you rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
All right, yeah, let's rock and roll.
Okay. Walk-up song.
What?
What's your walk-up song?
Walk-up song?
Hmm.
I don't know, man. I have like a million. Like, what do you mean? Like on the stage?
Yeah, like if you were doing a show tonight, if the restrictions are
lifted. I'm
lifted.
the rapid fire right now.
And you're walking up on stage. What's your song tonight?
I don't know. I like download like 10, 20 songs every week, and I'm always into different stuff. And we'll usually usually it's probably something rocking. It's gonna be rock. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Nirvana, Ramones, Hendrix, so something rocking like that probably.
Right on.
People do AC/DC. That's a little overplayed already. It sounds good, but I'd have to do something different.
I like the answer.
Answer that well.
So the next question you kind of answered already. What's your favorite venue to perform in? You named a couple great ones. What's your favorite show? Do you have a show that you performing regularly?
No, what do you mean the show?
Like a showcase or like a regular recurring show?
Well, I guess every show is different. It's hard to say which show. There's clubs and cities I like, that's for sure. And but I guess like I really like if you have it between like 100 to 250 seater is always like a great in an intimate room. That's the best. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'd say like I said, San Francisco, Sacramento. Those are two of my faves. And Philly was always fun. I've done Philly. That was always a good time. Cities is kind of what I remember more than the clubs.
Okay. Do you have a least? Do you want to tell me your least favorite city?
Well, a lot of these redneck ones like that I've done, like Modesto. I got into it with people. Medford, Oregon. I've got into it with people. It's really hard to do Trumpy rooms now with a bunch of Trumpies in there because they don't understand. It's just ugh. So I mean, it's not good. It's not good. So yeah, no, there's definitely that. I mean, it's funny though, man. That's not really like Canada because even the conservative people in Canada are cool. It's weird. It's weird. I'd get along with hunters and like, a lot of the oil guys who hate the prime minister, but they're still more liberal than what the hell we are down here.
Well, they're probably also polite, like more polite and more respectful, I guess.
Very much so.
Yeah.
They're more educated on stuff, and they all get their free health care and they love it. And it's, there's no horror stories. It's all bullshit, dude. It's all bullshit sold to us by the insurance and pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah, you're not wrong. What is the funniest thing an audience member ever said to you after a show?
Nothing, dude. They ain't funny. That's why they're not on the stage.
Who is your favorite comic?
Alive or dead or
however you want to answer.
I don't know. That changes a lot too. I mean, Dave Chappelle is still one of the strongest ever. His sketch show is amazing. I was fortunate enough. I was at San Francisco last year, and he did his hour for Sticks and Stones. He ran it like a month before he filmed it, and my show got canceled because he was doing the headlining. But then I got to watch him, and I've watched him many times. I got to open for him a couple times, as he'd always come to San Francisco, and he was so tight. It was so killer. There was a drag woman there, trans woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on the special, she passed away. God bless her. But yeah, he's so strong, man. And it's like he's a funny person too. Like he's a guy that I've watched the guy like work material for hours at the club, and it's not even ready, but you'll still listen and laugh and. Because he's a funny person. Like, those are the comics I prefer. I don't prefer the clever, I wrote the best joke ever. I mean, I do prefer a well-written joke. It's amazing. But me, it's like I'm a personality guy. I got to rely on I'm a funny person, and that's what I like. That's how I connect with people. But, yeah, Dave's one of the best now. Bill Burr, I love. And then you go classic, Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Bill Hicks, Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy.
Good answers. Who's your favorite comic to do a show with?
You know who I like? John Caparulo. He's a good buddy. He came from Ohio. He does the show in Vegas now every week. But that man pays me better than anybody. So when I would work for him, he's a good guy too, man.
I've met him.
Yeah?
Yeah, I met him at Laughs Unlimited here in Sacramento.
Yeah, he's funny, man. He's that's the thing too. He's a room wrecker. People love him. I mean, people love him. Like he's one of those guys. Like the same thing. He's a personality guy, and it doesn't matter. He just kills. And I'm friends with other comics like Brett Ernst and all these guys I know came up with him, and he would tell me Brett was like, he's like Cap is a room wrecker since day one. He's like, he just crushes, and some guys are like that, man. But yeah, he's living in Vegas now and he's doing well. But I always loved working for him. I haven't worked for him in a long time, but he got me into some clubs in Ohio, which was always nice.
If I remember right, he does a show 5 nights a week now.
Yeah, I think so. At what's Harvard?
I can't remember.
The one that with an H. Harris.
Yeah, okay. Right on.
Right, that's shut down right now. But yeah, he's doing well there. He's got a wife and kid. He lives over there in Vegas.
Right on. Who's your favorite Italian or Italian American?
I don't know, man. I mean, I guess favorite Italian.
Yeah. I don't ask everybody. I just had to ask you that.
Well, it's funny because I guess you have to say a real person because there's so many fictional Italians that are awesome, right?
You can name a fictional Italian.
And all the Goodfellas and Godfathers of the world, but then you can say someone like Scorsese or De Niro. I really like De Niro's political views, or Coppola. Francis Ford Coppola. I mean, anyone I guess who's a liberal Italian pushing the agenda. There's a lot of conservative Italians, man.
There are, but the liberal ones are cooler. You can
by far.
Go ahead and say that right away. Do you, if someone's buying us drinks at the bar, what are we drinking?
Whiskey.
Any kind, or?
Well, Bullet Bourbon is nice. I like a whiskey ginger, maybe an old fashioned or a Manhattan.
If someone's buying us shots, what are we shooting?
Whiskey.
Okay. Toilet paper over or under?
Over, but it's bad if you got cats. Like, we got cats, and see, you got this guy over here. Look at a little cat right there. They like, but hey, I gotta go that way. It's weird other way.
I agree. We just had our first person answer under, and I love her, but no one else does it that way. Your favorite drag queen?
You, buddy.
Oh, thanks. And then I have to retire this question after today. I don't know. Do you know Chelsea Bearce?
No.
Okay, she's a Bay Area comic, and she's on the show. She's amazing. You guys should meet. You would both love each other. She told me I have to retire this question because she gave the best answer ever. So you're going to be the last person I ever asked this question to.
Yeah, I love a lot to live up to.
Nah, I mean, are you a Disney person?
Oh, I like Disney. Yeah, I like Pixar really, but I do like Disney.
Then this is great. You're gonna knock it out of the park. If you were a Disney princess, it's 2-part, or a Disney prince. Either way, you can answer however you want. Who would you be?
Well, Shrek. I mean, I'm a big oafish guy sometimes, and well, that's DreamWorks though.
It is, yeah. Shit. I wasn't gonna call you on it, but yeah, you're right.
Hold on then. All right. A prince or a princess?
Mm-hmm.
My favorite Disney movie is Dumbo, but he's neither.
You can say that though. I'm loose with my rules.
There are no princesses. Well, you don't want to be Snow White or Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty. Those are boring. I don't know, man. I don't know enough. I have to see a list. Ariel, I don't want to be her. No. No.
Well, okay. What's that?
Who was the good answer? What was the best answer?
Well, so the best answer is for the second part. But I'll say if you come up with an answer and you ever want to come back on the show, you're more than welcome.
Well, no, dude. I gotta come up with it right now. So wait, what's my options? What's the princess options here?
All of them. They all count.
Well, what's their names?
Well, man, there's so many. There's
okay, I got one.
Okay.
What about the girl from Toy Story?
The like Little Bo Peep?
No, the cowboy girl.
Oh, Jessie.
Yeah, Jessie.
Okay.
Princess?
Yeah, that counts. Okay. So Say that again?
What was the best answer?
So the best answer is to the next part of the question, and it's which Disney princess am I? Do you want to hear the answer that was given before you answer or after?
Yeah, what was the answer given?
The best answer that's been given is Ariel, but Ariel specifically when she's coming out of the water and can't walk and doesn't know how to be a human being.
That's pretty funny, dude.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know enough of the princesses.
All right, that's fine.
It's been a while. I mean, I watched 101 Dalmatians the other day, but there's no princesses in that one.
No, but sometimes you meet people and you're like, oh shit, you're Cruella de Vil.
Definitely. But she's not in it as much as you think as the original. She's not in the original that much.
Really?
Yeah, watch the cartoon again. You're like, she's not very much in there.
I mean, when you have somebody that wants to murder animals, I guess you use them sparingly. You don't need to overuse it.
It was 1961 that came out.
Wow.
Crazy.
My last question for you is when all of this is over, restrictions are lifted, what are you looking forward to the most?
Probably just performing for a live crowd and eating good restaurant food.
Yeah.
So I've been cooking my ass off and I love it, but it'd be cool to try something I don't make, you know?
Yeah, but your food looks good. I'll say that.
Oh, well, thanks, buddy. No, it's good. It's good. But I want to do something that like I'm not going to make scalp or maybe like mussels or something or, pulled pork, smoke it. I don't have a smoker or anything like that.
Right. Someone get this man some delicious food that he can't make.
Yeah. Some poke. Maybe I'll get into, I've been watching a lot of Triple D. Maybe I'll get into some poke.
Yeah. Like
sushi. I really want sushi. That's something I really love that I can't ever have at my house.
Well, if anyone's watching and they want to make you a happy person, now they know how.
There you go. Send me a sushi burrito.
Yeah. Sal, that's all I have. You're welcome to come back anytime. You know I love you. I'll have to message you a thank you.
Again. It's always fun seeing you. And I'll definitely let you know next time I'm in Sacktown.
Please do.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
Stay
Thank
safe.
you.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
That was Sal Calanni, Appears and Queers, and you can hit him up on his Venmo if you want. Make sure you see him when he comes to your city. He's another don't miss comedian. He makes everyone happy, like we covered across the continent with his jokes. So catch him in person live when that's a possibility again. And sorry for going so long on the show. It was a good show with good guests. We're going to fit in David Shapiro still. We still have him on the line. He's been waiting patiently, so I guess we'll get to him. David, can you hear me?
Hey.
Hey, there's a lot of riots in
Yes.
Sacramento. Yeah. Were you in them?
No.
They were crazy, though, right?
Yeah.
So what are we doing this week for our segment?
Well, so I wanted to... Terrible things are happening across the country right now, and it reminded me... I wanted to make... to everyone's saying everything, and everyone has advice for everyone, but I think it's important to remember to cut the bigots out of your life. Don't leave space for them. I mean, there's so many other things people can do, and so many other things people can say, but we can't tolerate bigots anymore in our lives. There's no space for racism from an uncle, or sexism from a cousin, or homophobia from a grandparent, or anti-Semitism from a neighbor, or xenophobia from a coworker, or any combination. We just can't have that anymore. And there's certainly, like I said, there's a lot of other things people can do to fix the situation. But I think it's important for the people that are good people not to tolerate the bigots anymore.
Is it that easy though? Can you just cut someone out of your life?
I mean, I'm lucky. Everyone in my family is not a piece of shit. But I do remember in 2016, Philando Castile, a black man in Minnesota, was murdered after being pulled over by a police officer. And he didn't do anything wrong. He was just driving, and the police officer shot him after pulling him over. And that came back to me this week because of obvious reasons. Minnesota and a black man being murdered seemingly systematically just because he can. But I was actually, when the news made national news that week of that story, I was visiting my in-laws, and my mother-in-law was watching the news, and she said that, I can't remember if she said an unsavory slur or if she said that man, because it almost was, the shock of what she would have said was almost washed away by what she said next, which was that man deserved it. And my wife and I reacted like, what the fuck did she just say? Because we didn't know she was wildly racist to say that, to see and she was watching Fox News, and she sees a black man get murdered by the police on TV, and she assumes that he deserves it. Obviously I don't have a relationship with her anymore because I'm divorced, but I wouldn't be able to. Because that's not like, I don't, that's not like just only having white friends. You're actually condoning the killing of another human being because they deserved it, because you believe it, I don't know, based on their skin color, or because Fox News tells you to believe it. Like, I'm not sure why she said that, but my relationship with her ended shortly thereafter, and had it not, I would have anyway. I don't want to leave room in my life for, you know, any crazy bigot like that.
Heavy stuff this week, David. Very serious. Anything?
Well, I wanted to tell you and your viewers and anyone else watching the show, all the people helping the show and contributing to it, to be safe. Don't do anything crazy.
Yeah, no, you be safe too. I don't know what I'd do if something happened to you.
That's fair. I do stupid things sometimes.
Yeah. You do really stupid things.
Well, if it's okay, I'd like to just end with a observation, maybe joke that I've noticed during all this. Not to make light of anything else I've said, but okay. So all the people that were complaining about not being able to get their hair cut or styled or dyed or whatever, and they were protesting, that's passed now. It's legal to do that again in California and other states. But here's the secret person that was protesting because you couldn't get your hair cut. There were one of two reasons that if you wanted to get it cut, you couldn't. Either you go to Sports Clips or something like that, and they were all shut down, right? Or your barber, hairstylist, hair person doesn't like you. And that's the truth. Because the rest of us were getting our hair cut in garages and back alleys and secret rooms and on porches. And you, person that was complaining about not being able to get your hair cut, as though it was as bad as something that happened this past week, they just don't like you. So they didn't return your call. And they didn't reach out. Why? Because you're the type of person that would put on a sign, "This is a free country, I need to get my hair cut." And people just don't need that kind of attitude.
It's a good observation. Maybe not a good joke.
Yeah,
you should learn more about a joke.
Yeah, well, I think that's it, really, for me. I do want to tell people I think it's great to peacefully protest, but watching the riots last night in Sacramento, there were a lot of people doing it, not because of what's going on. You could just tell there were some people just doing it for fun, and I guess if you're I don't know. I haven't really formed my thought about this. It's important to stand with the people that need to be stood with. It's important to stand with people and fight for equality and rights and life and freedom. But rioting because it's fun, I definitely saw some of that. And I fear that the wrong people are going to get blamed when people are spray painting buildings. You know, I don't know. If anything, I guess I would say keep the same energy, crowds of white people. Keep this energy. Post this week. You know, hire a black person. Figure out how to help going forward. Book a brown person in your show. You know, respect a woman. Keep this energy going forward. Don't lose it because it's not the buzz moment of the week. Unfortunately, this sort of thing happens every day in the lives of black people, and people need to know that it just wasn't this past week.
Okay, you went back heavy.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. It's what the world is out there. So be safe.
Okay, you too.
Yep.
Thanks, David.
All right. Take care, Suzette.
Yep, you too. All right, guys, that was David Shapiro, actor, comedian, producer, whatever he's doing at the moment. And again, that was the show. Sorry we went long, but we had some great guests, and I just wanted to make sure to get to everybody today. So thanks again to Stab and to Jesse, the producer of the show. Couldn't do it without him. Literally could not do it without him. And we'll be back next week on June 7th with drag queen Brenda Ova and comedian Mike Mazzalotti. So make sure you join us. I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to be on time because we did it today and we can do it again. I can do it again. Jesse's always on time. So June 7th, 7 p.m., Mike Mazzalotti and Brenda Ova. See you then, and until then, have a great week, and please be safe. Okay. I had trouble with them last time.